another session of Technology by Performance. I'm Ken Umansky, your host, and today we'll explore more of the world of technology. My guest today is Yvette Schmitter, co-founder and CEO of Fusion Collective, an IT consulting firm serving financial, healthcare, and industry companies on their journeys to leveraging AI and emerging technologies for transformative business outcomes. Before founding her firm, Yvette had held leadership roles at PwC, AWS, and while at AWS, she led 3 record-breaking cloud migrations, including the largest in AWS's history. Yvette has spoken on global stages at Afrotech, Black Tech Week, Black Tech Fest, Women in Tech, and TEDx. Welcome, Yvette. Thanks for joining me today. I know this is going to be an exciting discussion. With your experience, I'm looking forward to this discussion on AI and how it's being used successfully and being implemented successfully. If it is, because I bet in some cases that's not true. So let's get started. My first question, the AI everywhere hype, that machine's working overtime, yet many businesses report disappointing ROI on their AI investments. Where's the disconnect between that promise and AI's performance?
Thanks, Ken. Thanks for having me. Super excited. So the disconnect is right where it always is, between the slide deck and reality. So companies diving into AI without really defining clear business problems to solve, then they wonder why the magic didn't happen. This throw tech at it is really like a lose-lose, because if you think technology is going to fix your business, it's clear about 2 things. You don't understand technology and you don't understand your business. So what we're finding is that most of these companies jumping into AI is they're jumping in full head, feet first, and they're not really training their people. And what's even worse is that they're often training their systems on incomplete or biased data sets that don't really represent the actual customer base or the business context. They kind of believe that, for $20 a month, I can just throw this in there and they'll learn everything about my business. And that's not really right. And I'd just like to remind people that, we need to remember sales is aspirational in nature. Everyone is being told that AI will do something for their company, but they are woefully a few examples where AI has actually done something for companies. And little secret, meeting notes and summaries don't count. So what has happened is that, that has truly moved across industries. Has anything that AI has been enabled, has it really moved the needle? And the answer is no. The few successful AI implementations that we've seen, it starts with identifying very, very specific friction points that cost you money or time, and then applying a targeted AI solution with inclusive data foundations. And then once you do that and you train the data, and it normally works, right? But you really have to think about, if you're training your data only represents certain demographics or scenarios, your AI will inherit all those blind spots, and that's how you get costly failures in production.
So you think they're trying to adopt AI prematurely? Is it AI that's not performing, or is it just the overpromise of it at this point, setting the expectations? Is that really the problem, you think?
Yeah, I do believe that. Right now, I hate to say this, it's almost like sales is turning AI in to a carpetbagger, right? If you look at the reason why AI is not working is that people really aren't looking at their data sources critically, or the problem is we're finding that a client will come to us about this one problem, and we ask them, the 5 whys. Literally, the problem's not where they think the problem is. It's left of the problem within their operational processes. And so if you just go all in and buy whatever comes to you and throw AI at it and think that you're really going to fix it, it's really not going to work, and they're not really asking questions. They just sold on the Figma magic, right? Of what this AI tool could potentially do. And they're not asking questions like, whether their data represents the diversity of their customers, the markets, and their use cases. Companies that are seeing real ROI don't just chase the buzzwords, right? The industry buzzwords. They're invested in data quality, inclusive representation, and ethical guidelines first. And when they do deploy AI, they're solving specific problems with measurable impact, that at the same time making sure that they're solving a problem, not creating a new one, but they're also making sure that their systems, the AI systems that they're deploying, don't amplify existing biases or create like new forms of exclusion and problems.
So you think the problem here is that they're afraid of being left out, or that competition's going to get the AI employed or deployed more rapidly than they are and have a competitive advantage? Is that really what's going on here?
Yeah, and I'm this may hurt a few folks, but at the end of the day, if you're deploying AI because your competitor has it, is your win just gonna be like, well, we have it because they have it? Like, what problem is it solving, right? If your win reasoning is adding that extra marketing line, like that's really not the reason to deploy AI. So I do believe that a lot of organizations are rushing in and deploying AI because they have this fear of missing out, fear of being left behind, right? And it's just, and we've seen examples of where, that really wasn't thought through, and it just created a bigger problem that you even started with. So I do believe that it's a lot of hype, it's a lot of fear mongering and fear of being left out.
So, talking about deploying AI, a lot of companies, it appears, I've heard a lot of companies are deploying AI with fragile data infrastructure. How do you avoid turning the technological vulnerability they have into automated vulnerability?
So it goes back to what we were talking about, right? You can't automate what you don't understand, right? You just can't. Many organizations are essentially strapping a Ferrari engine to a shopping cart, right? And the infrastructure wasn't built for this level of processing or decision making. Their technical foundations are often a patchwork of legacy systems, right? Acquisition after acquisition after acquisition after acquisition, right? Each acquisition is keeping their own data source, right? We've seen it, right? So it's a patchwork of legacy systems. You have inconsistent data models in each one of those systems. And then security protocols that they have were designed for a pre-AI world. So as AI technologies evolve, so too must their architectures and the architectures that support them. So incorporating like reinforcement learning and edge computing and hybrid cloud solutions, ensuring that the AI systems continue to be adaptable, efficient, and capable of tracking increasingly complex challenges. And the thing is like what we've seen, and we deal with companies all the time, right? Worried about complicated issues. When the reality is that they're just deficient in the basics. Like security is a process, not a product. You got to have it built into your company culture. If you got internal problems, AI will only amplify those problems. And I say this all the time. Security and cloud cultures must be built from the inside out, not bought from the outside in.
Gotcha. That's good philosophy. Okay. So beyond the cost cutting and efficiency that AI can bring, what business cases for AI are companies overlooking that could potentially transform their competitive position?
Yeah, that's a really great question, Ken. And if we're really being honest, even the cost cutting and efficiency business cases haven't resulted in much of anything concrete. And at Fusion Collective, like we coach our clients to think small, when it comes to AI deployment. Like pick a use case, something small and contained, and the right partner, right? Not a sales organization, right? Not a SaaS partner, but the right partner, or product that can make it small, focused, and easily measurable implementation. And don't do anything else until you've got real measurable improvement. AI is a transformative enigma for sure, right? But if you can't make it work on something small, then that pie in the sky visions of aspirational capabilities are nothing more than exactly that, a sales job, and everyone's fixated on doing the same things faster and cheaper, but the real transformative power lies in doing what makes the previously impossible possible. Like, take customer personalization. AI enables personalization at scale that humans simply couldn't even achieve. Or product innovation, like using Gen AI to quickly explore design alternatives. But there's also immense untapped potential in using AI to make your business more inclusive and equitable. This is where I think of myself as like an impatient optimist, Ken. Like the term captures like the delicate balance of trying to strike in my work, and outraged by the pace of progress, yet committed to the belief that we can work together to accelerate it. So most of our clients are forward-thinking companies, are examining how AI can help identify and address systemic biases in hiring, promotion, customer service, and product development. And they're using AI to make their products more accessible to people with disabilities, to translate services into multiple languages instantaneously, and to ensure that their offering works for everyone.
Okay, my next question then is, AI agents seem to be the next shiny object. It's being pushed by the tech vendors a lot, but are business leaders really asking for these capabilities, or is this just a solution in search of a problem?
I would say it's a solution in search of a problem because, if you really think about it, who really asked for agents? Like it didn't come from the business, right? It came from the people developing these frontier models, right? Who are building these tools. They're the one that came up with agents. And we can see it, right? There's two very public, and this is not like Yvette making stuff up, examples where agents went wrong. Most recently there was Cursor AI, right? They had their agent, Sam, they named it Sam, who created this fictitious policy, right, about multiple logins and started kicking people off of their machines, right? Double down, send out emails, and Cursor AI didn't even find out until it hit Reddit, right? So like that's an agent gone wrong and made up a policy, impacted your customer base. So how does that help you? It literally created a problem you didn't have and you lost customers for that. Another example, again, documented, Air Canada. They had their chatbot, Molly, who was providing answers to a potential customer and was inquiring about bereavement rates, right? Molly told the customer, hey, buy the ticket at the regular fare, then submit for a refund for the bereavement rate. Right. That policy doesn't exist, right? And so that actually was litigated, Ken. And the judge was like, yeah, Air Canada, you can't say that Molly is like a third party and now you're not responsible for Molly, right? But at the end of the day, they didn't have that problem, but that agent created it.
I think we're just about to start seeing a lot of those cases. Excuse me. There's a massive disparity in AI capabilities emerging between organizations. Recently, studies suggested 65% of businesses have AI initiatives, but only 17% have successfully scaled them. What separates the AI leaders from the laggards, and how can companies bridge this widening AI divide?
Okay, I'm trying to be nice. So I personally believe that 17% is generous at best. Generous. And if you really dig into that number a bit, you'll probably find that scaling that's been done is also along the lines of rolling out AI chatbots for more efficient and informative information retrieval. Like internal employee portals are common use cases, like what's my dental deductible, right? They're answering the same questions just in a different way. Makes for a good employee experience, but it hasn't actually provided a new capability. So the real numbers tell of a, sobering story. Not the new report that came out McKinsey, but before that, their research shows that high AI performers are seeing a 3 to 5x return on investment than their competitors. And this gap is widening annually, but their most recent report really doesn't doesn't support that. So what's creating this divide isn't technology access, it's organizational readiness and talent strategy. So the leaders have recognized like something, the leaders of AI have recognized something that the laggards haven't. AI transformation is fundamentally a people challenge disguised as a technology problem. So top performing organizations are investing heavily in reskilling their existing workforce, not just hiring expensive tech specialists, who don't understand the business context. They're actually creating what some are calling like the AI translators, employees who understand both the business and domain enough about AI to bridge those worlds. And the stats there are very revealing. So organizations with formal AI education programs for their existing teams are 2.3 times more likely to see positive ROI from their AI investments. Yet only about 22%, 23% of companies have implemented such programs. But we're seeing a talent bottleneck with AI specialists commanding like $200,000 salaries while business teams lack the basic skills to effectively collaborate with them.
Okay, well, so you've painted a picture here of AI currently seems to be underperforming the expectations that companies have, and they've adopted it simply because they feel they have to. What do you think about the future then, and when is that future for AI in terms of adoption and actually meeting the expectations?
Well, I really think that the tools today, the best ones are really helping individual developers, right? And I really believe that at this time that massive adoption of an AI model agent is not going to give you the outcome that you're looking for because you haven't addressed the problems to the left, right? If your data is not good, if your data is in 6 different sources, if you have no data governance, if your basic cloud fundamentals aren't there, if security is not there, right? If you don't understand how the business truly works, not how the CEO thinks the business is operating, but how it's truly operating. If you're not training your employees to come along with the ride with you, if you're not creating evangelists who understand AI, understand the business and how it can enable the organization to move forward, then you can deploy as many bots and deploy AI all you want. All it is going to do is exasperate and scale and at an accelerated rate all your operational problems, any type of vulnerability that you have, as well as security gaps. So we are investing in really heavily and having our clients shift left. This is what you want to do. Okay, do you have the basic fundamentals, the foundations to do that? We're asking them those questions because they come to us like, yes, we want to put this shiny object in. And we're like, yeah, okay. What do you have today? What are you trying to do? And if you lift open the hood, Ken, like it's like a hot mess underneath there. They don't have the basics to scale.
So you got
AI.
to go back to blocking and tackling before you run the field. Gotcha.
And most people most clients, when they hear that, they don't want to hear that, right?
Yeah.
They want to go to someone who says, let's do that. And my partners and I, that's not what Fusion Collective is about. We're going to give you, we're going to give you the
don't like to hear reality.
Yeah, like it's like, look, we're going to give you reality, but hey, that's really good. And we're here to help you get there. But if you want to get there, you need to do A through C first. Then we can incrementally iterate to get to there. You just can't go to Z.
Yeah,
when you don't have all that.
Well, we're out of time. That 15 minutes goes by pretty quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I really want to thank you for giving us such great information about companies and how they're employing AI and if they're getting an ROI, which doesn't sound like a lot of companies are doing that. It sounds like right now the majority of companies have AI initiatives, but have little success so far in scaling them. It'll be interesting to see in 6 months if this improves or it takes longer. When will it improve? How can our listeners get in contact with you if they have questions?
So LinkedIn is your friend on this example, Ken. I do read all my emails, even the bot ones. So send me an email on LinkedIn or a message on LinkedIn, or you can go to our website, fusioncollective.net, and submit a question there. I'm answering both. So do that, and I'd be more than happy to just chat with you or anyone for 15 minutes about what they're trying to do, answer any questions. If we can help them, we will. If not, I'll be able to point you in a direction to, either a site or an organization that can.
Yvette, you've been terrific. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ken.
And to the audience, don't miss out on the next episode of TechKNOWlogy, when we'll discuss how cutting-edge technology is being implemented across many industries and the results it's having with these companies. Remember, to please contact Performance Business Solutions at performixbiz.com if you need help with any technology challenge, large or small. Again, I'm Ken Umansky, your host, and until we meet again on another technology podcast, keep innovating.